You touched briefly on outreach. I mentioned I was going to press you on that a little bit. So I know Stacker has its own unique process there with the newswire, but can you just tell us any tips or strategies for how somebody might do their own outreach if they were doing this on their own?
Yeah, so I think this could be a whole other presentation, so I'm trying to distill it in my mind down to a few things. First of all, if you've done the content, you have the insights and what's interesting, right? You know what you're going to pitch because these are the interesting points. Don't pitch just we did a study on. It's no, you want to pitch like the insight, the interesting thing that's going to grab people's attention. But you got to pitch I keep saying pitch the right people. You can't just go to publication level. You have to understand what the writer covers. You're doing research about writers have their own objectives. They have their own beats. And I think it's very common. I don't know about you, but this is even outside of our conversation, but I get pitched on stuff all the time, not content, just try my tool or whatever. That has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me. So they didn't research me at all. And journalists have been, unfortunately, bombarded with pitch emails over the last several years. It's become more and more of a common tactic, but people have been using templated pitches and sending out crap. So you really have to work hard to earn their attention. So the subject line in and of itself is a task. You got to get the subject line right, maybe test it on a few, see if you're getting the opens. There's various tools that track whether people are opening your email, see if people are opening your email. If they opened it, the subject line was catchy enough, keep going. If they're not opening it, test a different subject line. Once it's open, you have a limited amount of space to continue to capture the same with writing. If you have a writing background, you get it because it's the same thing. It's the headline they click on, the first sentence, you got to keep them going to the next sentence. So in your pitch email, it's, okay, this is the super interesting thing we found. This is why I'm reaching out to you basically because I think it's relevant to the stuff that you cover, and don't like literally say that, but oh, this piece you did recently on this topic made me think this is a great fit for your audience. Personalizing is ideal if you're able to call out a story that you saw that they did or reference something on Twitter that they posted. Some reporters and writers literally have on their Twitter how they prefer to be pitched and like the stories that they're looking for. You got to take those extra couple steps because if say they do something like that and you ignore it, they're never going to give you the time of day. So that's what I mean by it's so difficult is like the work you have to do up front to even put the pitch together so that you have a higher chance of success. But that's why it's so great to use the same data set and change like the angles on it, like localizing, because then at least you're not creating entirely new projects every time you're sending out more pitches. It's okay, the content's done. Now we're going to focus on promotion. And okay, we're going to do like the national publications or the business publications or the health publications. And now we're going to broaden out to all the local publishers, like where the most hospitals close, where the least hospitals close, and everywhere in between, and see how it's going. But and the other kind of like umbrella tip would be like reducing friction again. So not leaving them guessing in the body of your email why your piece is interesting, like saying exactly, calling out like what is compelling. Don't maybe this is debatable, but like saying, oh, let me know if you're interested, and then I'll follow up with everything else. Like any step or click or anything that you introduce, your chances are lower. So make it easy, show them very quickly that it's interesting to them and they can run it immediately or whatever the conditions are, and just keep it simple.